Oh,
in the
back
room,
in the rubble room.
back in the room. And I think we're a little bit tired. I think we're a little bit tired.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a long day.
All
Yeah, we
right.
record in the at what time? We used to record like mid-afternoon my time, and then like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock your time. It's late. It's almost 8 o'clock in my
Mm,
time in the evening.
blimey.
It's
All
been a
right.
long,
Well,
long day.
this
Anyhow,
episode is for those late diagnosed ADHDers slash LDHDers
yes,
who who since they've had or since we have had our late diagnosis, we kind of look back on our
yeah,
long, very, very long lives and
yes.
kind of go, my God, like
Long.
I have
What
regrets.
if?
Like if what if?
What if?
What if?
What
Exactly.
if? Is it natural? Is it right? Is it not right? Is it a bit of a contentious little beast?
It is.
Yeah.
Regrets. I've had a few,
Had a
but then
few, but then
again,
again,
too
too
few
few to
to
mention.
mention.
So even Frankie the Sinatra, you know,
Mm-hmm.
even he reflected.
Yep, he did
Hmm.
reflect. All right, so let's go to a place where the distractions are landmarks and the detours are the main roads. Welcome to ADHDville.
Welcome indeed. I'm just
I don't have
Jenny
my
from the
tea.
block. Don't look at the rocks that I've got. Just Jenny from the block. Don't look at the rocks that I've got. Oh no, don't look at them. The rocks, don't look at them at all. I'm just Jenny
I,
from the block.
I don't have my tea. I've just realised I don't have my green tea, and I feel
Okay,
lost.
yeah,
I feel
okay,
lost. I'm not going to
okay.
stop this episode just because I don't have my green tea,
I
but
don't
I
have anything
fear I
either.
won't.
So, hello, I'm Paul Thompson, and I was diagnosed with the combined ADHD and the D just over a year ago. Bit more than
And I
just over a year
regret to
ago.
tell you that I'm Martin West, and I was diagnosed with a combined ADHD poo poo platter in 2013. So I was very late. I was like, what, mid 30s or something? No, mid
Yeah,
40s.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
a
I was
while.
mid to late 50s, so so we're just
Woo!
two mates who, by coincidence or not, after 39 years of friendship, discovered that we're co-ADHDers. Now, it's
Boom.
really, really important to say this is an entertainment podcast about adult ADHD and does not substitute for individualized advice from health professionals.
No,
So don't take any advice from him.
or me.
Just we're just here as a kind of all-inclusive ADHD park bench. Imagine that little
Yeah.
picture with room for everyone, including your doppelgangers. Yep, your alter egos, even them. Your
Yes.
body doubles. Don't leave
Hmm.
those out. Your
Come on.
chaperones and even your best buddies. Got to invite
Yes.
those.
We're still there. Come on.
Both of them. Still here. Congratulations. You've already won a special loyalty badge. Grab your jetpacks, your pedalos, your space hoppers, and any other transportation methods, and let us
Yep.
take you to ADHDville, an imaginary town that we've created in our
In our mind.
minds, where we like to explore different parts of the A, the D, the H, and the D again.
Boy, and we start
Boy,
off as we do now in the pub in the tavern of ADHDville, the King's Attentive Head,
yes,
where we, the ex-mayors of ADHDville, take care of business and have a drink.
yes.
I will have a pint of Hustler's Limp Arm,
Okay, okay.
if you don't mind.
I'm gonna have a pint of Baby Sham.
Oh, Baby
Yeah.
Sham. I'll have a Baby Sham. You know what? I'll have a Baby Sham. I was just harkening back to a Baby Sham advert from the 90s.
Was that a Baby Sham advert? I don't even
There,
remember a
yes,
Baby Sham
there is
advert.
basically a Baby Sham advert where some cool guy goes up to the bar and says,
Right.
I'll have a baby sham," and then the cool
Yeah.
guy next to him goes, "I'll have a baby sham." Like,
Oh,
cool guy influences the
okay.
entire
You, you can almost
bar.
imagine Michael Caine going up to the bar. I'll have a baby sham.
I
I
can.
like a baby sham.
I had it when I was about maybe 19, 20, something. I think I had one at a party.
Okay.
I don't remember anything about it, to be
It's
honest.
genius.
Isn't
It's
it?
a
Isn't it
baby version of champagne. Baby sham. Genius.
right?
It literally was a
Oh,
baby-sized bottle of champagne.
so it's just
Baby
milk.
sham.
It's champagne for babies. It's just
Shit,
yellow milk.
shit champagne. It's like the
Shitty
French always
champagne.
said, whatever. If it wasn't good enough for them to drink, they'd send it over to England for us to drink because
Mm-hmm.
we didn't care what we were drinking. Probably right.
Yeah. Well, I do regret. So if we talk about regrets, then
Oh,
sure. I'm going to say I definitely regret getting, like alcohol drinks. Because like because with ADHD, you have quite a lot of addictive behavior. Well, and also
mm,
having alcohol to kind of like make yourself
yes.
loose enough to kind of
Make
feel
make
sociable,
adjustments. Make
to make
adjustments.
adjustments in polite company and in polite
Exactly.
company.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
just
I
loosen up the seams a bit,
right, and I
like
definitely
Bagpuss.
regret taking that too far several
Mm,
times.
do you? I do. Actually, at my father's wedding, um, he, as far as I know, he went to France. Like in England, we do that, or we did that. I don't know if they still do. They used to drive over to France and like load the car up with cheap booze and then come back on the ferry.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my father went to France and got some very cheap champagne. And
Ooh.
I tucked into the champagne like a
You
demon.
tucked in like a
I
champion.
tucked it like a champion. And
That's fun.
oh my god, I think it was very bad. I do like champagne though. Oh my
Oh,
god.
really?
Oh yeah, I love it. I like it a
I'm.
lot.
I don't tend
I
to
could
like the
drink it,
wines.
endless champagne, but
All
I
right,
get
endless.
terrible hangovers from it.
Right. Yeah, I think I've got two. I mean, like it's always. I don't really regret the times I got hammered when I'm out with my friends, but as you say, when you're at a family thing and your
Mm,
parents are there, and then
yeah.
you get absolutely wasted, and you're like,
Yes.
ugh, that's because those stories they always follow you around. They always
Yes. It's
bring
like
it
a
up
nasty crash.
at
Yeah.
family things, like that
Yeah.
time when when they found you on the pavement or
Mm-hmm.
in the grass outside heaving your guts up. Like, it will always
Yes.
come up, will never go
I've
away.
done that as well. I've done that as well in London. And I got stopped by the police. They came out and
Right.
anyway. But I can get champagne is different from other booze. I can get a high off champagne and I can
All
have a
right.
fleeting moment where I'm just, you know, out of my mind. Yeah.
Nice. A, 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 and in case anyone's wondering, Paul is a good drunk. He's not like a,
Oh,
how some people are like angry, they get really dark and
oh,
yeah,
that's nice to know.
and they're very, and
Okay.
then there are other people who are just happy
Mm,
and funny and just kind of like, they're kind of good drunk people to be around.
yeah. Yeah,
This
I'm just
podcast, d-
I'm very friendly when I'm drunk.
yeah, yes, you go and talk to anyone. You're
Yes, and
like
anything like a
anything.
plant.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got
Exactly.
any nice house
Um,
plants, I'll go and talk to them.
right. Yeah, I think I'm a fairly chatty, fine drunk. I'm not.
I've never seen
I'm not
you like
hammered
drunk,
beyond.
hammered. never seen you
Yeah.
hammered. No, no, no.
Well, because I think that's the slightly autistic side of me doesn't like being out of control. So
Okay.
it never. So I don't get that drunk that often.
Well, I don't get out of control ever. Even with drugs, alcohol, I never lose control ever. I've never lost it.
About to lose control, and I like it, like it.
It doesn't. We've never, friends and people I've known have been, had gone out of their minds on, I don't know, whatever. I've never, I've never lost it at all. But they say that
Right.
about drugs, don't they? And alcohol with people with ADHD. It's a, generally, it's like has more of a correcting kind of, kind of,
Well, yes. So I mean, like,
energy.
it's it it's not lost on me that the meds I take are actually, amphetamines. It's basically
Yes.
speed. So
Yeah.
so any drug that is like that, it actually just it just kind of like
Yeah.
it just
Balances you
makes
out.
you normal.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Ugh.
No, totally. Totally
All
that. I
right.
mean,
Well,
it's a lot of people said there's been some research on it even. It's not just us. It's not just like,
it's not just anecdotal.
no, it's not just anecdotal. That's a good way
No.
of putting it.
Mm.
Not just anecdotal. Yeah.
All right. So who's going to kick off with at least something?
Well,
I
yes,
can.
with some content, you mean?
Yeah, that
Well, I
thing
could start.
we call
I could
content.
the regrets. This has been kind of on the cards for an episode for a while, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And
Tell
yeah,
me more,
right at
Mr.
the top
Thompson.
of this episode, we were talking about it is a bit of a contentious beast because there's a lot of people that say, "Oh, you shouldn't have regrets. Oh, come on. Oh, come
Mm-hmm.
on." So this is just my point of view. Like everything else with the podcast, it's just my point of view. Or it's Martin's or combined or whatever. Martin might
Lay us on
completely
us.
disagree
Lay
with
us on
me.
us, Thompson.
Yeah, I think it's a complete load of shit that you don't have regrets. Bullshit. I think it's a complete nonsense. And then we should. It's actually healthy. It's healthy to have regrets. Completely normal. There you go.
Right.
Anyway, come back for
Well,
next week's episode. It's about
that's the end of that. The
it's
regret.
outro.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Hit that outro
Yes.
button.
Let's hit the
Yeah,
outro.
because
What do you think, Martin? Are you what on a like, you know,
regrets.
do you
I
do
have a
you
few.
yeah.
I have a few. Yeah. No, I think that. Yeah, because I mean, if yeah, I think there's a difference between regrets and then sort of if you pile on sort of a
Shame
blame and shame
or shame. Yeah.
onto that, then that
Yeah.
starts to pile up into a thing that you don't necessarily need.
Mhm.
Because I think that's one. I think if I'm going to kick off with the one of the biggest things, and probably a lot of people will kind of feel this way is that they look
Mhm.
back on their life after they've had
Mhm.
an ADHD diagnosis and they kind of go, oh God, like I
Yeah.
thought that all of these things that I did were kind of a part of a character flaw in me.
Yeah.
They were, I had a bad personality.
Mhm.
It was, you know, it's, that I was
Or
just a weak, crappy person. Um,
yeah.
and
And
then you get
impacted others.
oh yeah, and then you get a diagnosis and you go, okay, right, well, I'm still responsible for all the choices and the things that happened, but now
Mhm.
at least I understand it better,
Yeah.
and that does take away some of that guilt and shame. It's
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
oh, you know, I've had trouble with the relationships and all that kind of thing because oh, I see now because I have ADHD
Mhm.
and that was a physical
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
and I just didn't know,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I guess
Totally.
which I guess takes us up to the first thing of like not knowing, right? I mean, like that's the,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
of all that stuff, of so much time wasted or whatever it is in that
Yeah.
period of, oh, I just didn't
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
could blame
Give it a
myself. I could
name,
blame others.
that kind of thing. I remember when I first read a book about narcissism, and it just like, I was read it, I think, God, I wish I'd read this before. I could have, it could have been, I could have dealt with a few things a lot easier if I'd like, oh, it's got a freaking name, you know. In
Oh,
our
it's a
case,
thing,
yeah. So, oh, okay.
and it's a
I,
predictable thing. Oh, I
yeah,
see.
yeah.
It's
But
it's not
unlike
so weird.
narcissism you can't fix.
Not really.
I've not heard any. I mean, I've heard there's some experts, and the one I'm thinking of, she really is an expert. I mean, she's very, very good. She said, oof, she has actually got clients. She's a psychologist. She has got clients who are self-confessed narcissists, and she said, it's hard to fix someone, even if they are capable of admitting that they are narcissists. And you can find these people on YouTube's
Right. Yeah.
narcissists who talk about themselves being narcissists,
Yeah, I
which is
suspect
great.
if you can't
You know,
fix ADHD, then you can't really fix autism. You can't really fix
yeah,
narcissism either. It's just some people are more aware, I guess, and try and
mm,
cope
yeah.
with that.
But we are quite hardwired to be, to have ADHD and certain traits of autism. And I think it's a certain joy, especially at very late diagnosed like we are. There's a certain joy in accepting a lot of the stuff and getting a lot of
Hmm.
peace from that. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Regrets. I've had a few.
I've never heard anyone convince me why we shouldn't have regrets. Never convincing reason. But actually, I looked this up, and actually, there's some quite convincing reasons why we should have regrets. Because if you don't have regrets, it generally it could demonstrate that the person has a lack of reflection and lack of reflection and growth,
Hmm.
or denial of accountability, or they've just simply not been able to reflect on their on these kind of things. They could miss opportunities for change. They could be superficially optimistic,
Mm-hmm.
emotionally disconnected, or even potential for self delusion. All of these things like start to like thinking, okay, there's more. If you put it on the scale of for or against, I can see personally that this is healthier to have regrets.
Yeah, I mean, most of my, in fact, I would say almost all of my regrets are probably the impact it has. My undiagnosed ADHD, the impact it had on others, right? So you got
Hmm.
failed marriages,
Hmm.
and then that impacts kind of kids
Yeah,
and your partners and all of that.
totally.
And I mean, like that. That's where I have regrets. It's not small
Mm.
things like, oh,
Yeah.
I regret not put I regret ignoring the petrol, the gas um thing on my car, saying that I was about to run out of gas, and
Yes.
then I ended up on the side of the road and I had to phone up for a car
Oh,
place to kind of tow me, or like those
right.
small things.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
have
yeah.
no
Mm.
those things. I don't. They're just life. You just go
Yeah,
through
yeah,
those.
yeah.
But yeah,
Because
it's
as long
the
as they're
impact on
not,
others.
before my diagnosis, as long as the regrets aren't, don't evolve into like crippling self criticism or shame spiraling, and they're
Yeah.
actually, the regrets are, you know, mm, mature reflection, and responsible, taking ownership in some way of how things have gone in the past, then that's okay, I think.
On the next one, I have I could have achieved so much more. So, and I don't know quite how to feel about that. But always what I do, because in a way, it's not work wise or career wise, because I really hyper focused on work. So my career's been awesome, but at the expense of, the relationships and living life and going to the theatre and drinking baby sham.
Yes.
All of the, and also I guess that touches on like time blindness. If I knew I was time blind earlier, that could have saved me so much freaking aggro. Because we both have quite deadline orientated jobs, right? A job comes in and we've got a week or two or three, and we've got to hit the deadlines, and then we procrastinate, and then we get. I know, I don't know about me. I get really annoyed that I procrastinate, because at the last minute I have to pull a rabbit out of a hat, right? I have to kind of like exert superhuman effort to kind of get the work done, and it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, what? Why am I doing this to myself? And I thought that there was something wrong with me, because I spent years doing that. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? But actually, I know now. Okay, well, now I know. At least, even if I do it, I don't feel quite so bad, because that's my ADHD. Or I can kind of try and get ahead of myself a bit.
Yeah. Or even for me, it was like, if I had, I don't know, if I had I don't know. Sometimes I really like, I sometimes if I'm in a high street or something near a shop, and I suddenly get this ridiculous urge to buy, like luxury socks or something. It's I'm out of control. It's out of control, and by the time I've kind of realized what's happened, I've already come out the shop with a shopping bag and a pair of £300 socks.
Wow. How much have you ever spent on socks, Paul? Just
no, never, no. But I have. Oh God, what's the most I've spent on something?
Something stupid. I mean, while you're thinking of that, right? I have a belt that I spent $70 on about 15 years ago, right? Which for me felt like stupid money, right?
Right.
And it was like this, because I could get a normal belt totally fine for about $10, $15, but no, $70, right? So, and I felt so bad that I'd spent $70 on a belt. I was like, I'm going to wear this freaking belt every day, right? I'm just going to get the wear out, and I still wear it. And in fact, yes, I'm wearing it now.
Wow.
Hang on, I can get up to the camera. Hang on, I'm just going to grab the camera.
Do you have to? Feel free not to. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I'm just. Woo, there we go.
Oh, right, nice. Okay.
A little bit. I was showing a little bit too much skin there.
I've always had never too much of your skin, Martin. I've always had a penchant for like quality things. In fact, I've just moved my son to Germany last week. Okay, and I swear to God, I've got a toaster. It's a mark called Dualit. It's like industrial kind of toaster. I bought it 30 years ago. A toaster.
Still bagging out toast like a champion.
Bagging out the toast like it's going out of fashion. And let's face it, toast will never go out of fashion. Toast will never go out of fashion. I'm going to predict that. You heard it here first.
Oh, right. Wow, there we go. That should have been on the future of ADHD episode.
I did once spent $3,000 on Bang & Olufsen speakers.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Where are they now?
Downstairs in the kitchen.
Oh, you still have them?
Propping up the table. No. Oh no, they're magnificent. I mean, they're just a, a total. I mean, aesthetically beautiful. The sound is amazing, but I mean, completely ridiculous. Now, I look at them. I've just got like I don't know, a load of bills coming in, and I'm like really up to my eyeballs in bills to pay and stuff. And I'm looking at those speakers, and, blimey, I could just like pay off all my bills with just that one
Mm-hmm.
thing. You know, oh
And
God, did I really have to? Yeah. I think
I
clothing
know.
wise, the most I've ever spent was I think I spent about £250, no euros on a shirt. One shirt.
Mm,
250.
that's spicy. That is
Spicy. Yeah.
spicy. I'm just,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just
I did some
trying.
research.
Yes.
I did some research. There's a lady talking about regret. There's a lady, pretty amazing out there lady called Bronnie Ware. She was a nurse in an Australian nursing home, okay, hospice kind of
Mm-hmm.
environment, okay, and she used to look after the dying, the last days, okay,
Okay.
and okay, it's not more. This is not a morbid conversation because the way she talks about it, it's all pretty mind blowing stuff and really inspiring kind of stuff. Years ago she started doing a blog. Then the blog turned into a book. It's now a multi-million seller. Okay, and it's the book is called Top Five Regrets of the Dying. Right,
All right.
and sold millions and millions of copies. And like, I'll just go through top. These are the top ones, right? Of the
Okay.
dying.
All right.
You ready?
I'm in. Strap yourself in, everyone.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go.
Hang on.
I tell you,
Um. Okay,
if
ready.
Harry,
I wish I had the courage to just be myself.
well,
I
that
wish
feels
I had.
applicable.
Yeah.
Hang on. Let's just kind of like
Bang on.
let's.
All right.
I think that this is a good list, and I think rather than just bang through it,
Right.
I think we should just
Yeah. All right.
take it at
All right.
pace because I
All
think that
right.
that one is
It's
quite
bang on, right?
applicable to us,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
Absolutely.
I don't think I could be the authentic Paul before my diagnosis.
Right.
I don't think I
Yeah.
could.
No.
I
No,
tried.
because right. I think that even if you self-diagnose, it has the same effect. I feel, which
Yeah.
is like it paves a road for you to kind of to start to explore yourself and kind of go,
Hmm.
oh, this is how I work. Oh, I see. Oh, this is who I
Yeah.
am. Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
As things start to make
I don't.
sense.
I don't think because I've personally I worked on it. I worked on it really hard with psychologists and stuff in the last 12 years. Like started 12 years with the basic question in my mind, real simple question, Paul, who the fuck are you? Right?
Hmm.
And I started at ground zero. I had like a big crash, blah blah blah, and then spent the next few years with counselling and stuff like that. And I got pretty far. I did pretty good job if I'm kind to myself. But the diagnosis, ADHD diagnosis, a year and a half ago, is it blows all of that out. It didn't cancel or any of the work that I did. It just meant that when I did get the ADHD diagnosis, I was more ready for it for sure.
Hmm.
And it just like you know, um, it gave me spadefuls of like helping in terms of helping myself know who I am.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Yeah.
I think let's
Okay.
go to the next one.
Next one. I wish I'd spent more time with the people I love.
Yeah, I think that touches on something that I just said that I
You just
hyper
mentioned.
focused
Yeah.
on work
Mm,
and less time on those people that I love and that
hmm.
are around me. Yeah, no, for
Yeah.
sure. So that one, so I will tick that one.
I wish I had made more, um, made spirituality more of a priority. Ooh,
Ooh.
spirituality.
I mean, I'm not a god person per se,
Yeah.
but I think that there is something. I mean, like I'm not going to be supernatural, but but there is like a sort of a general life philosophy. I do like the kind of Taoist or
Yes.
sort of
Hmm.
Buddhist,
There is
that kind of
something about the
Eastern.
human, yeah, this human spirit. There is a lot, thank God. There's a hell of a lot that can't be explained about the human spirit.
Yeah, I think I think there is definitely, even there is one step beyond like just your everyday living experience, and then
Mm.
there's that overlay of like you find out you have ADHD, and then you overlay that onto it as an
Hmm.
explanation. I think you can then overlay that with
Hmm.
another kind of deeper philosophical
Yeah.
kind of layer, whether that's the Taoism or Buddhism or
Hmm.
whatever you like. I feel like that can kind of also help
Yeah.
as well.
I've never got into it, but I can. There's certain elements, the basic principles of Buddhism I personally relate to, or even like there's like some ancient rituals, spiritual rituals of ancient native of North American Indians.
Ooh,
They basic stuff like if they took something from a tree, like a berry, and they ate it like a piece of fruit, they would look in the ground and look for a seed and plant it. You know,
all right.
These like really beautiful kind of. I mean, the Native American Indians, their spirituality was I think mind blowing. A lot of it,
Yeah, no,
based on respect,
I think we
totally based
can
on respect.
definitely live better people.
Yeah.
What's
Number
next?
4. I wish I'd spent. I wish I hadn't spent so much time working.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah,
This one was actually, if you're familiar with Gabor Mate, which
no,
I personally really like. He has some strange views about ADHD, but that's okay. We can have differences of opinion. I find him a really inspiring man. Actually, he said he has ADHD. He
okay,
said he worked very, very, very hard, and he wish he hadn't worked quite so much. Um,
yeah,
I think
yeah.
I
Just
use sometimes work as a convenient distraction from dealing with life. You know,
all right.
people, family, looking
Mm,
after
I can see that.
myself as a loving partner, and
Right.
a convenient
I just I
distraction sometimes.
I just find that work gives me gives me dopamine, and I'll just chase that the
Yeah.
dopamine. Um,
Well, for me, work was my only source of self-esteem.
yeah.
For me.
No, I mean that is, if there's. I was talking to my wife about this the other day. If there's one thing that has been going on over the last 5 years, it's been me having a crisis about who I am,
Hmm.
um, since I am not my job anymore. So,
Yes, 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 yes.
um, I was a creative I
Hmm.
still am a creative director, but that became my whole identity.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then COVID happened, and then I lost my job, and I didn't do any work. And then it was
Hmm.
like, who am I? Who am I?
Yeah.
Who am I?
Yes. Yeah.
And then it's
And
been
that's
about.
actually very common with men, especially. Men are not good at nurturing friendship, and they come out the other end. Midlife crisis is often about it's actually related to hormones as well, and other um, physiological things that happens as we get old. But it also a realization that, like, you get to like your mid 40s, late 40s, or early 50s. It's like, oh, is this it? You know, you've
Hmm.
not nurtured any friendship. You've kind of not really nurtured, relationship with your brothers or your sisters, or with your mum or your dad or your cousins or whatever, or uncles. You've not done quite as much as you could have done, maybe even with your own kids, with your wife or
Right.
your partner. And you think that's the only thing that really freaking matters in the end.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me, my work does matter. So it's never been something that
Yeah.
doesn't matter, but in proportion, please, Mr. West,
Mm.
in proportion.
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't be
Yes.
everything. It can be
Right.
a part of it, and that's cool
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
but yeah, so these last couple of years has just been me just kind of going, what the hell, who am I? And just trying to
Yeah,
work
yeah.
on myself. And yeah, so and it's not surprising that many men, when they die
Mhm.
after after they retire, you
Yeah.
know, like it's such a common thing to
Yeah.
retire, and then a year or two down the line you're dead
Yeah.
because
Their
because
value's gone,
because
you know?
yes, uh, because
Yeah.
if you wrap your identity in your job and you lose your job,
Mhm. Mhm.
then everything
Well,
goes out the window. You just go into like a
mhm.
downward
And then
spiral.
you only have to go back a couple of generations. Like my granddad, the only thing he had to be good at was a mechanic, and he put food on the table, and that was it.
That was all
That
he.
was it. No, there was
That
no
was it.
concept of parenthood. There was no concept of like, oh, are you good father? Are you good at this? It's like, no, I bring home the bacon, and that's good enough for him. You know, they didn't have to think
Mm-hmm.
about anything else. Nothing.
No.
Even my father, to a certain extent, well, a big extent, I would say. So you only go back one generation. It's like all men had to be good at was that, but it was never
Mm-hmm.
enough. Neither
No.
for men or women, or the men or their partners or their family. It
Right.
was never enough.
Right. What's next on the list?
Next,
Yes.
um, I wish I'd learned to express. Oh no, hang on. I wish I had discovered my purpose earlier. Contentious.
Purpose. All
I'm
right.
not sure of a purpose. I'm not convinced
No.
about purpose. This is my personal opinion. I think purpose is a bit
Yes.
of a misnomer.
I'm
Purpose.
with you, Paul. I mean,
Oh, that's good.
like I could, if you do have a life's purpose and that fucking
Mm.
anchors you and that's your North Star, then
Right.
fair
I
play
think
to you.
the meaning of life is there's no meaning.
It's 42.
It's
What
42.
what's
Exactly.
what's the next one?
Next one. I wish I had learned to express my feelings more. Oh,
Well, yeah, I mean
okay.
that's kind of us
Yeah.
because you could say,
People
right,
pleasing.
well, people pleasing, right? Because you could say,
I
I
wish
let
I'd
people.
told a lot more people to fuck off.
Yes, there we go. That's the that's that that's
It's the
that's.
nub.
Thank you, Paul. You have basically just kind of condensed it down to a little nugget
Yes.
of what it really is, right? Because it's
Yeah.
about boundary setting, right? And you let and 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 you don't,
Hmm.
and you don't because if you don't
Yeah.
know you have ADHD, you don't know that people just trample all over your boundaries, and you let people
Hmm.
treat you poorly, and you're people pleasing, and it's just a nightmare. It's
Yes.
a nightmare. It's a
Hmm.
pot
Yeah.
puree of disasters.
And by the way, that's not a one-way street. I think actually we have a perception that people don't want to know what our true feelings are. Actually, I think it's often the case that it's not even part of their it's not even their thinking. You know, I
Hmm.
think there's some of my dearest friends are probably. I wish they'd had more courage to say to me, Paul, tell us what you're really thinking, because I think people are going back to spirituality. They can tell if you're not being authentic, especially your
Right.
best
Oh yeah,
friends.
you can. Yeah, for sure.
You know,
In fact, I worry. I still worry whether I'm. I don't. Not necessarily do I think that I'm authentic, but do people think that I'm all authentic? Like I don't feel like I'm really that unauthentic, and I just kind of go, do people think that that I am being inauthentic even when I'm trying to be authentic?
right? Okay,
I worry too
yeah.
much sometimes. I feel
I
I'm overthinking it right
I
there.
think I was extremely inauthentic um, until my mid 40s. There you go. Saying,
Right.
putting it out there. Yeah,
I think
extremely.
I was right. I think I was, yes. Yes, for sure. Yeah. No, for
It's
sure.
interesting to say it out loud. The first time I've said that out loud. Yeah, I think I was extremely inauthentic until my mid-40s. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it all depended on who I was with, because
Mm,
I can
yeah.
definitely feel like with me and my friends and we're just goofing around, I could be extremely authentic quite a lot of the time,
Mm,
but then I would feel like, oh, that's just a goofy side of me or something, and then I have to be
yeah.
all good and normal for my
Mm,
parents, or if I was, at work or something.
yeah.
I feel like my
Just.
authentic self was just the goofball part
Mm,
that it was fine. It came out once a while, but I didn't think that was all me. I'm all that person
yeah. I wish
in
I'd been
reality.
more of a goofball. That's my thing. I'm more of a
Yeah,
goofball now than I ever was.
excellent,
Yeah.
nice. How many?
Talking of goofballs, I
Yep.
wish, because if some people don't know this, if you haven't listened to all our other 70 odd podcasts, Martin and I once went to Cuba together. I would
Oh
love to
yes.
go back to Cuba post diagnosis with you,
Oh
Martin. We should
blimey.
do that before we pop our doodles. Anyway, next on the list,
Mm-hmm. How many
um,
more left?
oh, there's loads. So maybe some of them. I'll go through them and then tell me tell me when you want to stop.
All
Okay.
right.
I
Sure.
wish I hadn't spent so much time worrying about things that never happened. Oh, that's a big one. You see, they're all big ones.
Anxiety. I know they're
Sparky
all going to be
tunnels.
big ones.
They're
The
all big.
regret of anxiety,
Yeah.
like
Funny enough, I wish
ADHD.
there's one thing that's not on the list was like I wish I'd kept my house tidy.
Ah, fuck that.
That's not on the list. Weird, isn't
No.
it?
Yeah. No.
So I wish I'd wish I hadn't spent so much time worrying about things that never happened. Yeah, shame spiraling, catastrophizing. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
god, catastrophizing.
Yeah.
Terrible. Okay. I
Yeah.
wish I had taken more risks. I've been quite risk. I've
I don't
taken
know.
quite a few risks.
Well, because
I've been all
it
right on
definitely
that
feels like
front.
I've been flying by the seat of my pants for
Yeah,
a
me
lot of.
too.
I feel like it's risks every day. Like I feel like I'm taking so many risks all
Yeah.
the time.
It's like, oh god, there goes Paul again, taking some more risks.
Right.
Yeah,
But
no, I'm
then,
not. I don't have that problem.
but then but then I will get. I'm on the big stuff. I'm quite hard to move. Like, so if it was like buying a house or moving to another country or something, and someone's going, look, we have to, we've, we can't keep paying rent. We have to kind of buy somewhere, and then I'd be quite
Yeah.
slow to get on board.
Mm, yeah.
Like, so those big things, those big life changing things, I'm quite hesitant on. I'm very hesitant on.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Okay.
right.
I wish I had realized earlier that happiness is a choice. Mm,
Happiness is a choice. It is a
It's a funny
choice.
word, happiness. I don't
I,
know
I am going to
about that
shut
one.
the door to my bedroom because I can hear
Oh, okay,
voices
that's a
coming through.
choice.
Hang on. Yeah, it is. Happiness, happiness,
Happiness is a choice.
happiness.
Next one. I wish I had loved more.
Well, yes. I mean, that
I
kind of
don't know.
goes down to, yeah, that's
I
that
wish
same
I'd
thing.
taken better care of myself. This is a good one.
Better care of
So,
myself. Right. So if you'd had
the thing that you say,
ADHD
Martin, yeah,
and you'd
that thing that
known,
you say at the end of every podcast, you say, take fucking care of yourself.
yeah, just fucking take
And
care.
we mean it, you
Yeah.
know.
So, right. Because I think that this also is a thing that it kind of leads into, like if you don't know you have ADHD, you have burnout, right? Because you're not
Mm,
looking after yourself. And you're just like,
yeah.
you just go into complete meltdown modes,
Yeah.
and you don't understand why, and you blame it on yourself or other
Yeah.
people, or
Mhm.
combination of both, and you don't realize that actually you need to take, you need, um, self
Mhm.
care in order to kind of
Mhm. Yeah.
not not fix ADHD, but kind of just make it a bit easier on yourself.
Yeah. But self-care could also be investing in a good psychologist.
Yeah,
Self-care could also be about making better choices about the people with whom you spend your life with.
wise words, Mr. T.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I'm loving all of those.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I wish I'd made better sprouts. Oh no, hang on. I wish I
Oh,
had
I love
been a
sprout. I've
better
got a really good
spouse.
sprout recipe that I'm kind of doing at the moment, which is
I, I hate
I
sprouts.
will, I fucking love sprouts. Right. If anyone out there likes sprouts, I've got like an air fryer thing, and I cut the
Right.
sprouts in half, and I
Right. Yeah.
cover them in olive oil, and then
Yeah.
I get them all crispy in the air fryer, and then in a
All
bowl
right.
I mix up mayo and sriracha sauce that kind of ends up
Okay.
with kind of like this pink, spicy pink sauce, and then you just
All right.
roll that in that, and it's just like, I'm
Nice.
having that
Can,
tomorrow.
can I have
No,
a offer as
tonight.
an alternative?
Go on.
Um, Pak choy, very, very, very lightly toasted in sesame oil.
Yep,
End of.
yep,
End of.
yep,
End
yep.
of recipe. End of
And or
instructions.
recipe.
Very
Yep.
nice, but literally, or like the pak choy, literally just tossed in and tossed out again.
Yeah.
Lovely. I
Spouses.
wish I
I think you
had
said.
paid less attention to other people's expectations. It's kind of repeating another one, really.
Yeah.
I wish I'd quit my job and found something I really enjoyed doing.
Right. I think if you have ADHD, right, I think you either struggle to find a job that you
Yeah,
actually stick at because you just get
yeah,
bored and then you just self sabotage, you just leave, and so
yeah.
you're kind of job hopping and you don't find something that you really like,
Hmm.
or you're like me and
Hmm.
you, where you kind of go, oh, I know what my career is because
Yeah.
because I actually get get dopamine, I hyperfixate on it, and then
Hmm. Yeah.
I'm fine.
But
But yeah,
this I think comes back to self care again. It's taking care of yourself also means nurturing and investing in the right job that's good for you. Good for you. I don't know what I would
yeah,
do if I hadn't been a. I don't know. I think there's
I
lots of other
know.
jobs I would have loved to have done. Definitely, no problem.
I
There's lots. I
like
can
the
think of a lot of jobs that I wouldn't want to do.
There's a lot of jobs that I like the idea of doing, but I'll
Yeah,
probably find quite boring if I was actually really doing it.
yeah.
But
Well, if
but
do you ever
yeah,
think of a profession out of nowhere and you think, "Oh, I think I'd be really good at that."
yeah, I just can't think of one offhand.
I think I'd be
What job?
quite a good police detective.
Oh right. Oh right. In Inspector Thompson of the Yard,
Yeah,
and you
of the
go around
yard.
solving crimes on a Sunday night.
Yeah, smoking a pipe.
Right. Right. Sort
Yeah,
of like
because I've just
you just
got like really good, like intuition and pattern recognition and blah blah blah, obsessive. I might become suicidal though because I wouldn't
suicidal.
on reflection because I wouldn't be able to leave it in the office. I would be obsessed. If I
Oh
had to
right.
find a serial killer, I would be totally and utterly consumed by it. But I'd get the bugger.
All right. Yeah. Well, right. Yeah. It, I wish that you had been out there
Yes.
protecting us all.
Yes, thank you, Martin. That's really nice of you. I wish I'd stayed in touch with old friends, Martin. We're old
What?
friends.
Don't call
Almost
me
40
friend.
years.
I think
Almost 40 years.
I've had this conversation with you before. We're not really friends.
Are
I am
we?
hired. Hang on, no, I remember now. I'm hired by
Just
your
hired
dad
help.
to be your
Oh,
mate.
oh.
I think I refer back to an episode that we did like a long time ago now,
I think I conveniently forgot it.
where I was like, yeah, your dad pays me every week to
Oh,
be your
right.
friend.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. Jesus,
Nice. Thanks, Dad.
clenching my buttocks. Clenching my
At least you did
buttocks.
something right,
Yeah,
Mr. Thompson
exactly.
Senior.
Yes. Well, at least you got paid, like, a lot.
Exactly.
Um,
It's the only thing that keeps me going. Carry on.
but staying in touch with old friends, I think your best friends, they don't need looking after so much. This is a very ADHD thing, isn't it? As also, you generally you. I mean, I don't have hundreds and hundreds of mates at all. I've uh, like a handful, you
Right.
know, that not only do I take care of, especially now more than ever, but just of wanting to, you know.
Mm-hmm. All right. How many more?
Okay.
I think we'll just
I
round it
wish
off
I
with
had
one more,
spoken my
maybe.
mind more. Okay, let's kind of repeats another one before that. Wish I hadn't spent so much time chasing the wrong things. I wish I had more
Okay.
children. Okay.
Right. No.
I wish I had thought about life's big question earlier. What?
Yeah.
Okay.
All
I
right.
wish I had travelled more. That's always a good one. I haven't seen Asia yet. Hello, Asia, if you're listening.
All right. I think yeah.
I'd like to travel. I want to see Japan. I want to see Laos. I want to see Sri Lanka, Madagascar. Come on down.
Mm-hmm.
The price is right.
All right.
Yeah.
I now have to
Um.
go and let Eddie in. Eddie,
Oh,
so
okay.
you say
It's
the
his
next
moment.
one. You
Okay.
say that while I go and open the door.
I wish I had lived more in the moment. Ah, okay. Okay. It's a good one. Just waiting for Martin and Eddie to make
Well, I
their
think the thing
presence.
with ADHD is you either live in like because of time blindness that there is only two states of time. There's now,
Mm,
and then there's
yeah.
not now,
Yes.
right? So you so like dogs live in now, right?
Mm,
That is their only world. So I feel
hmm
like I spend most of my time living in now, and I
hmm
don't actually spend enough time, in the thinking down the future and what's going to come and
Yeah. Yeah.
future stuff.
Well,
I'm all
there's something to be
now.
said for like concentrating more on investing. I suppose investing personally, investing more time in the now. Looking after me in the now and not thinking about tomorrow, the day after. Thing is,
Hmm.
you know, not thinking too much about, will I be happy in a week's time? Just like, okay, I don't know. This it's quite a
Could you?
skill that some people have
I,
that I
it could
don't
also
generally.
be. Uh, I I wish I could sort of be more present and
Mm,
appreciate what is going on around me. So
mm,
because we do tend to catastrophize and we do tend to kind of like overthink, right?
yeah.
Um, and we and we do get caught up in ourselves and less
Yes.
in stopping and appreciating
Mm,
what's going on outside my
in the
window
in the big room.
in the
Yeah.
big room.
And the last one.
All right.
I wish I'd pursued more of my dreams. Ugh. I know.
It's funny
Yeah.
because I don't know about you, Paul, but every time someone says, "Oh, what are your dreams?" I don't have any dreams. I've
I
never
don't.
had any
Yeah.
dreams. I've never
No, no,
gone,
no, no.
I dream of this thing in my life.
Yeah.
Never have done.
Pursue more of my dreams. No, I don't really go with that. I'm not that romantic.
I mean,
Do you know what I
if you
mean?
do have
I
dreams and
just a
you
bit.
know what they are and you want to
Yeah.
go for them, go for them. Absolutely.
Yeah. Generally, well, yeah, no, yeah. I'd like to hear the same list from a hospice that just had ADHD patients.
I
So
know.
just setting that up for someone to do
Well, I think we've
could
definitely
happen.
picked out a bunch then, and then the only
Yeah,
thing
yeah, yeah.
I would add on to all of these things about regrets is one. One is I missed out on the authentic joy that I could have had if I was diagnosed earlier. So like how you were saying that it's only now that you feel like you're your you authentic self, and when
Yeah,
amazing things do happen, you definitely feel that as much more authentic. You can be
yeah,
more
yeah,
authentically
yeah,
happier
yeah. The
rather
trouble
than
is
kind of like,
now it's like oozing out of my pores. Like we've spoken about this before, I'm sure. Like it's not just like after my diagnosis, I'm just noticing it more. I'm noticing it more because it's oozing out of me more. It's like
what,
they're taking the lid off it.
happiness.
Yes.
Well, you've got
I've like
you've got
let
happy
the lid
sweat.
off. Like it's like a massive freaking can of worms, my ADHD. And
All
they're
right.
like wriggling out all over the place
Mm-hmm.
and kind of enjoying it mostly.
Yeah, because I think, yeah, because you end up going, right, well, I have to control some of these worms that have come out the can,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
not
because
all of them.
the world's
I
not
don't
quite ready. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
I
world
don't have
isn't
to kind
quite
of
ready for
share
the
all.
wormless can.
No, but I can let a bunch of these worms roam free, and that's totally
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. To let them off the leash.
Hmm, I know they probably like that. You
Lots
know
of
what I
little
mean?
leashes on the worms.
Right. Well, that seems like a great place to uh, to leave that.
To give up
Um,
and
I know, and I think what we will do is as a like a little as a as a bookmarker is that
yes.
we'll get in the tractor,
Mm.
and we'll make our way up to the post office.
Post. Yes, let's do that.
All right, let's get in.
Oh, I love that. Oh, lovely.
There we go. All right, to the post office, and
Sounded
here we are.
particularly well tuned this week, the engine.
Well, I did spend a bit of time on it earlier
Did you
on
tinkle with it?
in the week. I put in new spark plugs, and
Okay.
that was the main thing there. Um, so this is where
Yes.
you say,
This is where I say your feedback is vital to us. We read all your comments. Not true at all. No, we do. We do really. And we might read out yours on a future podcast, like this one from Shelley on the YouTubes.
yes,
She said,
yes.
"This." Well, you read this one out. This bit
Well,
one out. This.
this one was about last week's episode. I think it's
Mhm.
last week's episode, which is where we had a bit of a messy, unscripted episode,
It
and
was very messy.
I know.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
said, "This was a fine potpourri of information," and I think it was less to do with ADHD information and more personal information
Oh,
about
okay.
about uh, about us and our lives and things going on in it.
Lives. The stupid
Lives.
lives.
Hmm.
Right.
Um,
Well,
and
glad you
and
liked it, Shelley. I think,
right,
we're quite
and of
generally on our podcast, we're kind of like, out there. I feel like we're out on the, lying on the surgeon's table waiting to be flayed
yeah, I
quite
know.
often.
I think in the whole year that we've done the podcast, I've only had someone correct me on like one on a TikTok post that I did, because I wasn't talking about ADHD. I was talking more about autism, and I didn't make it clear that I was talking about autism and not ADHD. And their point was like, you're supposed to be an ADHD center of
Okay.
education or whatever it is they said. And
Oh,
I said, no, you're quite right. I should have said that this is more of an autistic thing rather than an ADHD thing. But other than that,
okay. Yay.
not a lot of bad
We
stuff.
make mistakes.
But in the plus column in the good, there is always we're always happy to read Alexandra's
Yes.
uh,
Right.
comments on
Mhm.
on the YouTube. And what I like about hers is that she clearly she watches the episode and then writes the
Yeah.
comments as
Mhm.
she goes. You end up with this kind of quite a nice long
Yes.
comment. So
She
her
clearly takes her time, which is really,
yeah.
really nice. Nice.
I love that. I love
Loving
that.
that.
Anyway, and Alexander, we have invited you on. So
Yes, we have.
yeah. So our podcast is always open for you to jump
Yes.
in and say hello.
Yes. As
All right.
we've got a couple of episodes coming up, by the way. So keep tuned. A couple of episodes coming up
Yes,
with guests. Yes.
we have two guests. So we have Vanessa, who is also known as Wet Spaghetti on TikTok. So we've got her. We'll be recording with her next week, and then
Mhm.
we've got Jenny Lucas, who we were going to record 2 weeks ago or whatever,
Yes.
and then we had technical problems. So we're getting her back
Yes.
on at the front half of March. So yeah,
Mhm.
we have guests coming up. So I'm looking forward to all of that.
Lovely.
Yeah, so I think that just leaves me to say that
Yes.
ADHDville is delivered fresh every Tuesday to all purveyors of fine podcasts. Please subscribe to the pod and rate us most magnificent, and feel free to correspond at will in the comments. But wait, there's more. If you wish to see our beautiful faces, then sally forth to the YouTubes and the TikToks. And you can also pick up a quill and email us at ADHDville@gmail.com. But in the meantime, be fucking kind to yourself.
Guys, I beseech you, fellow ADHDers, know thyself. Sons of the hounds, come hither and get flesh.
There, says the mayor. That's that.
Bum, 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 bum.